This is a powerful time that transiting Uranus retrograde, Taurus, reevaluating the values that truly does stabilize us and preserve our sense of autonomy and liberation. Reviewing that, looking it over, and redefining it. Really, in a sense, because this is Taurus, it's redefining wealth. It's redefining what provision really is. It's redefining what indicates status for us, value for us, the value of importance, the value of what should be the currency from heart to heart, person to person, family to family, community to community. What is the currency now? We're changing what currency is. It's a change in currency. What's the valuable exchange? What are we exchanging as value from here on out? And it's changing. It's changing internally for every one of us individually, and collectively, we're connected to this change. With the moon in conjunction to Uranus right now, it's a collective unification of this realization that value has been recalibrated and redetermined. Currency has been recalibrated and redetermined. It no longer is money. It no longer is your financial status. It no longer is the assets that you have or don't have. Because Uranus has determined, has decided that these are no longer the stabilizing factors of man and woman in society. It no longer is the means by which you could judge the value of individuals, where you can assume the value of individuals and what there is to offer, what there is to trade, what there is to enter into the currency of the market of humanity. It's in direct opposition to Black Moon Lilith, Sagittarius. That Black Moon Lilith Sagittarius, there's shame around what we're willing to embrace as truth right now, or what we're willing to decide the truth is, or what we're willing to standardize and embody as being the new standard of truth. What is true now? And what is true now, according to a new realization or revelation of what value is, what resources are, what provision means, is simultaneously is hosting another reality with Sagittarius Mercury square to Pisces Neptune. Think about this. Black Moon Lilith is about what we are embodying, what we are biochemically responding to as the acceptable truth in our reality, or what we are expressing as acceptable or not, or what is not factually true, or what is actually true. This goes beyond what you can Google. It's far beyond what you can swipe, type in, and look up as What's valuable to us, what's important to us, what's true for us right now in this society, in my life, in the family, in our relationship, in our demographic, in our country, in our nation. It no longer can be determined by what has been traditionally acceptable as true or not, as real or not, as acceptable. Media has been compromised, extracting this standard from celebrities, popular people, charismatic people, really interesting talking points, people going on tours behind statistical data that they're just spewing out 1,000 miles per hour, impressing the people with it. Wow, did you hear all those facts and statistics that so-and-so just spewed out? We're starting to realize that none of this can give us the truth. None of this can arrive us at truth. Even as I mentioned to you all about, for example, it's factually true that I am an African American, a Negro, a black, a colored. That's factually true. According to Google, according to registered historical facts. But registered historical facts can and have been manipulated, can and have been fabricated, edited. Things put in, things put out, and the narrative turned upside down and manipulated and bended in order to maintain inappropriate powers and perception. It's illusions of what truth is. So facts cannot tell me who I am as a so-called black person in America. Because white men did far too much to confuse the route to arriving at that truth of who I am as a so-called black person. White men had agendas. Khazarians had agendas for the Catholic Church, for secret societies, for banks that did not allow them to be honest, to be truthful, to have integrity with how they're entering, registering, and recording history and information. It all has been compromised and manipulated. Therefore, I cannot arrive at the truth of who I am through Google searches. The revelation of truth, therefore, has a different nature. It reveals evidence and proofs from conviction of the body that teaches, explains to you how to appropriate and properly assimilate information, that agrees with the convictions of the body, not distortions of manipulation over time. It's recovered through the cosmic data and read of the body, clairvoyantly. That's the power of truth. It transcends time and man's ability to manipulate. You cannot stop truth. And so, as me using this example, we as so-called African American people, we know the truth about ourselves at this point. We know that we're not Negro, black, colored, African American, or even African for the most part, for most of us. We are the indigenous, true Native American Indians of America. That's what we now know as true. And that is our collective demographic Sagittarius Black Moon Lilith revelation of truth that we see outside of what has been standardized as values, resources, and provisions that arrives us at truth through what we used to call facts and statistics and historical narratives that will go with the revisitation of Uranus through Taurus. That no longer is the ground or basis of how to arrive at truth. So, likewise, this opposition, it can look like, for example, average people in America are going through financial crisis, housing crisis, joblessness. No, they used to enjoy careers of a very high status, expensive vehicles, access to circles of prestige, having excess in their bank account to do this or to do that or to go here, to go there. Now, with all that has been transpiring since the Trump administration, the good and the bad, we could argue that till the cows come home. The average American is in financial crisis. Car repossessions, eviction notices, medical health care is just a mess. And when we talk about elders and the disabled, veterans, it's even worse. As all these cutbacks, changes, and modifications, that the people have to take the burden end of these adjustments, while rich oligarchs get the beneficial end of these adjustments. Student loans have to get paid back in the midst of all of these things. Corporate jobs, careers of people who have went to college to get doctor's degrees, associates and bachelors and so on and so forth. The average college degree is now irrelevant since the Trump administration. It is futile and irrelevant. It means absolutely nothing that you have a college degree. It don't mean shit. AI took your degree. So what does it mean now to be a valuable person? What does it mean now to have something to contribute or to offer? What does it mean now to have provision? What does it mean now to be stable? What does it mean now to be wealthy? It cannot be based on past themes that Uranus is pushing an earthquake of change through. There's an earthquake of change through those norms and standards. And it's in opposition to what we have embodied or accepted as true for our reality, traditionally, through Black Moon Lilith Sagittarius. Don't forget that that macrocosm of that collectively is also true in a microcosm in your personalized reality, where you could be feeling a hit to your self-esteem, a hit to your sense of self and what makes you feel stable as a person, what makes you feel valuable as a person, what makes you feel important as a person, what makes you feel like you can enter the market with your head up among man and woman to change, exchange, connect, barter, share intimacy, friendships, trust, contracts, projects, collaborations, joining hands in whatever measure that it is. You're struggling to find a way to redeem and recoup and recover your sense of value as how value being determined gets recalibrated. Because you just lost your house. You don't have medical insurance like you used to. You lost the nice truck or car that you used to drive. You lost that fancy career status that you had. You no longer have access to that network or those people, anymore because of these changes. Or, it's very unpredictable what tomorrow looks like. A layoff just happened and your name was handed out in the envelopes of layoffs, the emails of layoffs. Your world is turned upside down and you have no idea how to come to a conclusion about where your value is at so that you can get in touch with your self-esteem to be able to find where is my community and where are my intimate companions in the earth? Who are my people that I can connect with confidently? Where is intimacy for me in this world where I can't seem to find my value? How can I find intimacy and I can't find value in myself or in my life where I feel like I have nothing to bring? We're changing what that means collectively. We're changing it. We are determining what value is and what the market is. We're changing what the market is altogether. We're recalibrating it. We're bringing it in ourselves. This is a big deal. Trust the process. And do not be afraid of intimacy. Open up. Open your heart. Don't fear intimacy. Remember that somebody on the other end is trusting you. Just as much as you're trusting, somebody's trusting you. Don't betray anyone. Don't hurt anybody. Don't wrong anybody. Don't use anybody. Don't play nobody. Please don't do that. Don't do that. This is a very, very critical, this is a critical time right now. Honor each other. Hold each other up. Protect each other. Cover each other. Be interested in knowing how each other is doing and how you can help. Just open the heart. Open every level of mercy and sharing and humanity that you possibly can, because this is where the revelation is going to come complete. It's going to come from those codes of cancer. It's going to come from the matriarchal intention that we have for each other. Open up. Open the heart. Open it wide. Open it all the way up. It doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to have a perfect order. How can we make sense of what's coming through heaven? How can we make sense of perfect wisdom that's channeling through us? We can't make sense of it. It's unintelligible because it comes through the body first. It's clairvoyant energy. And we can't begin to make sense of it until we convert it to artful expression in free spirit. And through artful expression and free spirit, then it becomes intelligible, because it becomes something that is contemplative. And when it's contemplative, the insights are extracted from that heavenly clairvoyance that's coming down. We are bringing all of this in, and it is perfect wisdom. It is new wisdom that's embodied, and it's going to lead to a wave of innovation where we are changing this entire world. Through our hearts, we're changing it. But it starts with your ability to brave intimacy. You have to brave intimacy. Know that the most valuable thing is the ability to exchange, share, connect, transfer, care, love, compassion, empathy, sensitivity, trust, love, kindness, mercy, affection, support, sensitivity, the covering of each other's faults, the covering of each other's shame, the lifting the burden off of each other to believe that we have to show up so perfect, to believe that we have to show up having it all together, to believe that we have to show up with everything in perfect order, to relieve each other of that burden. To tell each other, no, it's okay. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have it all together. You don't have to know all this, and you don't have to know all that. You don't have to be doing all this and do all that. You don't have to be the illusion of Pisces Neptune transit that we all bought into artfully through the internet. And that was part of the trial that we now can discard as a catalyst to tap into this realization that perfection is an artful ideal, but it is not reality. And we are giving ourselves and each other permission to be human. We're giving each other permission to be imperfect, to be flawed, to be all fucked up. We're giving each other permission to be banged up, screwed up, have dents, cuts, scrapes, bruises, and rust. We're giving each other permission to turn off the movie theater set, to stop acting, and to just be. We're giving each other permission to step off of the stage of performance and come out into where the expression and exchange of humanity is at. It's a movie set that we got so deeply into, somebody has to keep flicking the lights and say, okay, cut, everybody, cut. Take a break. And we're stepping into the break room. You're stepping into the break room, you're having your coffee, you're having your conversation, you're being human again. Mercury in Sagittarius is square to Pisces Neptune. The Mercury in Sagittarius, it's homing in that square on limitations in the mindset that limits our cognitive agreements to what we hold as true. And it's square to what we are concluding with the last degree of Pisces Neptune, of the power of our imagination to have free range and reclaim its infinite reach and expansiveness through its clairvoyant connection through spirit, that I have an infinite resource, I have an infinite connection to the all in all that allows me to determine what is true, that allows me to decide what is true, and it is unlimited. And through the power of my imagination, through the reclaim of my imagination, through my ability to step into an artful agreement with myself, not in delusion, but in retaking and reclaiming permission to imagine again, to believe again, to hope again, and to reach for what more is possible, knowing that possibility is up to me. I can reach, therefore, beyond the limitations of Mercury Sagittarius traditional norms, dogmatic views, and societal agreements that can never contain or encompass truth. But truth contains and encompasses this mustard seed or small fraction of agreements that were necessary catalysts for those phases of evolution that we're coming out of. So it's limitations of the mind that's being recalibrated and accessed through this square with Neptune, and Neptune is saying, I have concluded in all of my transit through Pisces and all of the infinite range of possibilities of stimulation to the imagination of artful concepts, reflective concepts back to the self, negative and positive and neutral. The range of possibilities from the catalog of internet imagery, topics, arguments, so on and so forth. All of the stimulation that came from internet to our imagination, now catalyzed with Neptune, and saying that all of that, the infinite number of catalog of internet diversity to the imagination that has been stimulated to the imagination, none of that still yet is the limitation of what I can imagine or what is possible as us to standardize as the truth now, or what we will allow to come through of truth from the essence. Because from Pisces and imagination, we are clairvoyantly downloading from the essence what now becomes truth and reality. And through Sagittarius, it asks the body, is this true? Is this the case? Is it delusion? Is it illusion? Or is it true? And if it is true, it will manifest conviction in the spirit. And if it manifests conviction in the spirit, we have a stellium at Capricorn that gives form and order to what we're bringing in. And it's through all of the impulses of the body, of the personal self, because all of the personal planets are now in Capricorn, and Mercury will be last to go into Capricorn, which tells us that the personal experience is now being reformed. Form, Capricorn. And the 29th degree of Pisces is significant because it has all of the experience of Pisces Neptune transit, which is every way that we have been enlightened by the dark and illuminated experiences of the internet. And what is on the other side of our maturity and revelation that we got in hindsight of all that was to be learned from the influences that came through the internet. And what is no longer true? What is no longer the standard? You remember what was true and standardized through the internet. Oh, you got to be six figures, and you got to be this, and you got to be this, and you got to have this, and you got to have that, big fast cars, and get rich quick, and I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm a bad bitch, and I'm this, and I'm that, I'm a boss, and all that. All this shit. It used to be what we agreed to. And we're bringing in an entire new reality based on those conclusions. The internet standardization is over. And it comes back to authenticity. Aries. Aries is now the new standard. Aries is now the basis for how we are idealizing who we are. Aries. Who knows their self? Who's authentic? Who reclaimed their self? Who stopped performing? Who bowed out of this global or national performance? Anyway, just trying to provoke you to start thinking, to start reflecting, to start imagining, because it's not going to come through me, it's going to come through you. It's going to come through somebody who you bring this conversation up with. You know what I mean? But most of all, stay intimate, stay connected, stay open, stay moving the currency of love, compassion, kindness, thoughtfulness. Move it around. Move it around. But I do warn you all out there, when there's transits like this, we could make the mistake of looking for love in the wrong places type energy. And when you start falling into things like promiscuous activity, you know what I'm saying? You start trying to pacify and fill these empty spaces through, casual sex or recklessness with your body, you know what I'm saying? And different things like that. That's not intimacy. That's self-sabotage. I'm not saying, be a fucking nun. I'm not telling you to be a nun. You know what's appropriate for you and what's not. But just know when you are practicing self-undoing and self-sabotage, know the difference. You know what I mean? Because you know what intimacy really is. It's about realizing and confessing your need for deep, intimate connection, affirmation and acknowledgement and exchange. Understand that.